Chewing on live electrical wires is a fun and healthy alternative to fruits and vegetables.
Hey, no biting. Hey, no biting. Okay? You want me to bite you?
Never thought that this would be the day. Should have seen this coming my way. Wish I knew she was falling for him. Now it seems underneath these thoughts, I lay alone under my love for you.
And welcome to another episode of Chewing on the Wire on COTW Radio. And once again, it's just me, still just me, Dominic. And so, as you always know, as you hopefully know, if you've listened to these episodes in the past, I have my list of things I want to cover just to make sure I get them all done, so I don't lose my train of thought, etc., because that happens a lot. So this isn't even the first thing on my list, but this is just something that happened recently, especially if you're listening to this version on Spotify, because we have to pre-record it. The Monsters game just ended, so I'm recording this a little before the Friday that you're hearing it, but the Monsters game just ended. And we did end up winning, etc., Only 8 more games to go to get to the Calder Cup after tonight. But I don't think I had to calm myself down before I came in here and started recording this, because I don't think I've ever been so annoyed at a sports team or at a sporting event, etc., etc., etc. So this is game 3. All right. The Monsters are up 2-0 in the AHL in the first, second, and third rounds. You only got to win 3 games in order to win that round. It's not like in the NHL where everything is 4 games. All right. Monsters up 2-0. Won the first 2 games at home, going on the road against Syracuse in Syracuse. And now, if you've heard these episodes in the past, you've heard me say Syracuse is not a team we are just prone to win against. They keep ruining our season and beating us at random times. Our home opener, we lost to Syracuse 5-0. So this is already a game, a team, etc., that I was like, I don't know about. You know what I mean? I thought we were gonna plow through what are they called, Belleville, and we ended up doing that. We did not end up doing that. Well, we did. We won the series, but we ended up dropping the game, having to go into overtime in order to beat them. The next 2 games, it wasn't the dominant route that I thought we were gonna take. But we ended up taking this dominant route against Syracuse, which I didn't think was going to happen. But anyway, the reason I'm so mad going into game 3, they put in their second and third string goalie and almost just completely lost the game. And now, as much as I get it, because if we were to win this series, which luckily we did, even with the second and third string goalies, it's probably good to save Jet, our starter, who's been nothing but dominant all year, for the next series, because it is against, gosh, I'm starting and going all over the place. This is how much I've lost my head tonight over how annoyed I was with this. But anyway, it's good to save him because we would have to play Hershey next, which is what is happening. So you'd want your starter rested and ready for that. But the reason that it annoyed me was if we lose this game, we have to keep playing. Well, Hershey just won and they're getting rest. So Hershey's not only a team we have not beat in the last 2 seasons ish, but now you decide to put in the second and third string goalie, so we don't get any rest. Hershey is now at home waiting to see who wins this series. We drop this game, have to keep playing. I'm just like, oh my god. But luckily we came out on top. We don't have to worry about any of that now. The Monsters won their, what number game is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Their 6th game, according to our Playoff Central wall over here with a little Calder Cup X out, cut out thing in our Fear the Depths flag. So they have to win 8 more games to win the Calder Cup. On that note, I don't think they will. And I know I've been a doubter this whole time. Well, I wasn't a doubter in the second round with the first for the Monsters because they got to bypass the first round. I wasn't a doubter in the second round. I thought we were going to crush them, but then when we didn't end up crushing them, I kind of became a doubter. It's really hard because it's like I'm watching these games, going to these games, watching them on TV, and I'm like, we're gonna win. And it's like the most anxious, like I can feel it in my throat, I can feel it in my chest. It's like just that the anxious bubbles, if you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, we just got to score one goal, and it could change it. We can do this, boom. But Hershey is not a team we have like even come close to beating. If we have, I stand corrected. I don't know when it was, but the 2 games that I saw them play were not anything you'd ever want to see. It's like I feel like they scored 7 on us the first game and probably 4 or 5 the second. It wasn't we gave it up big time. We gave it up big time, and now we have to win 4 against them. And if that happens, which I hope it does, 4 against a Western Conference team we have never faced. No idea who it's going to be. Unless, is Grand Rapids over? Maybe it could be Grand Rapids. We've handled them quite a few times. But no, I just think it's going to be rough from here on out. I don't mean to be a doubter. It's probably just that, like, I don't want to sound cocky. I don't want to sound full of myself, kind of, because I always have that kind of aspect going on and how I think these games are going to go. But I think that could have been that game against Syracuse we just won. I think that could have been the last win of our season till next year. But anyway, as I always say, I digress. You know something else that's grinding my gears recently? New Era hats. Well, they've always grinded my gears. So, as you know, big hat collector. Get one with every team that I've covered, every team that I go visit, etc., etc. And New Era does great work with their, stitching the hats, the logos on them. They have an awesome run of hats, so on and so forth. I always get snapbacks. Now I always get snapbacks. Why? Because New Era absolutely sucks at physically making hats. And everyone wants to argue this with me. Every time I see like the independent leagues, like the Appy League, excuse me, the Appalachian League, etc., going with, what is that brand called? I still have the sticker on one of my hats, one of my Sock Puppets hats. I can't remember what the brand's called. Anyway, I think the ALPB, Atlantic League Professional Baseball, if I'm saying that right, has the same brand. Let's hop on the interwebs here. Let's see. One moment. Let's see if we can get a glimpse at what brand. OC Sports. I was thinking the brand The Game, but OC Sports seems to have it about down. I think I got a 7 1/4. I kind of have gone up to a 7 3/8, but their 1/4 still fits me because I think it's an honest 7 1/4. With New Era, I've come to figure out it's all about the country of origin. So the sizings are not ever the same. And the reason that I bring up OC Sports is because I see when these independent league teams or sometimes just affiliated minor league baseball teams drop a new hat, something that isn't the official hat they're wearing on the field. Everyone's like, will you be getting this in the New Era 5950? And usually they don't because, New Era is so super strict about what they do. And then they're like, dang, I wish it was a New Era. I'd buy this if it was New Era, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why? I'd say the opposite. I'm kind of done buying New Era because they can't figure out their size. Like, I don't care if it's made by hand, whatever their shtick is, but like, figure out how to measure. Like, and I understand every country has a different size. We have a different size chart than, the Asian countries do, the UK does, so on and so forth. But like, if you're an international brand and you're selling a hat in the US, I can't go into it thinking, oh, I gotta wait a minute because this could be in UK or, Asian sizing where a 4XL is equivalent to a medium. Like, I hate New Era. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, honestly. I am. Ooh, that was a weird noise. Anyway, I'm, forced into buying them, etc., 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 because they're the only ones that they have the exclusive rights and so on and so forth. But like, you'd think whether it's hand stitched, handmade, whatever it is, you'd think as a professional company, you'd be able to figure out measurements, especially when you make the fitted hat, the original fitted hat, but can't figure out how to make measurements. It's frustrating because then they're like $50, and you like get it online and it doesn't fit, and then you like realize not everyone, but some teams are like no returns, and like you just bought either the size or a size up from what you normally wear just in case. It's fine if it's more roomy, and now you have to try to sell this $50 hat on eBay for like $15 maybe if someone even grabs that because they just made a 7 3/8 feel like a size 7. Like, it's horrible. Like, freaking. Anyway, now that we are done with what is grinding my gears on this wonderful soon to be Friday. Let me find my links here. We're starting a new thing. Instead of just doing the news, instead of just plugging the news as we normally would. Where are we? We asked you guys to send us some news. A mix between sometimes we'll do some news articles or sometimes we'll just read some crappy comments that you left on our stuff and just have fun with it, just see what we think. It gives us a talking point so I don't have to go out of my way 5 days a week and try to pick interesting news articles. You guys send them to us, I thought that was a good trade off. What do you want to hear, So I got some news articles here. How many are we going to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 6. I got queued up here. So let's open the first one up here. What do we got? All right, first one in Mexico. A fire breather fights off marauding mariachis in a turf war over tips. All right, wow. There is a picture, or maybe what do you call it? Like the picture in a video. I forgot what it's called. Thumbnail. And this road just looks like it's on fire. A fire breather has been treated in a hospital in Mexico after being attacked by a mariachi band and fighting back by setting several of them on fire. Alrighty, so security cam footage of the bizarre fight shows one of the mariachis chasing the fire breather, placing him in a headlock before punching him multiple times as traffic on a busy street stops and the street is on fire. Alright, the fire breather is then seen on the pavement as 5 of the band kick and punch him in front of a famous taco restaurant named El Inferno, or Hell. And this Alright, yep, that's what's going on in Mexico. That's what's going on in Mexico right there. Alright, we're going to cue our next one up here. I don't have an article for this one, but I was sent a screenshot right here. We got a picture here of a feather. And again, no article, but I have a little blurb here. Feather. The feather from an unnamed extinct bird sells for $28,417. All right, so imagine that. Imagine on eBay. You hop on eBay one day to advance your wildlife conservatory collection, and someone posts unknown, what was it? I lost it. Unknown extinct bird. And their starting bid is Their starting bid is $20,000. So what would you do when there is just a picture of a feather and the only description is unknown extinct bird feather? Because I know what I do. You know what I do? I would up that bet by 8,417 freaking dollars. I hope it's like, I don't know, maybe there's more to this. That one I was not forwarded an article to. So maybe there's more to it. But like imagine. So I actually in our studio here, we have these turkey vultures at my parents' house, and one of our neighbors had his, big huge lens camera and took a picture of them and got one of the feathers and like have it all like framed in here. It's really like fancy. The whole thing, it reminds me of the Velraven coaster for at Cedar Point, like that logo and all that. That's why I put it up in here. But like imagine, like I guess it's hard to wrap my head around because like maybe these people were huge on the study of birds, whatever that may be called, and were like, oh, I recognize that. That's the dinosaur times bird or something. And then maybe it's like a museum that dropped all that cash. But my first thought, regardless of what the feather would have been from, would not to be up the bet by almost $10,000. Because as a matter of fact, and the funny thing is, I have a picture of it. It's like a brown feather with white on the top. That's actually almost what these turkey vulture feathers look like. So actually, I don't have to up that bet by $8,000 because I can just go in the yard and just pick one up for free. Anyway, on to the next one. Where'd it go here? All right. Idaho man juggles blindfolded for over an hour. This one has both a video and a article here. This looks like it just happened yesterday, 2 days ago if you're listening to this when it drops on Friday. So, serial record breaker. All right, what an intro there. So, David Rush. David Rush is a serial record breaker. I don't know if that's a compliment or not because I feel like putting serial, like I guess the definition of it is just continuity, if that's the way you want to say it. But anyway, yeah, so serial record breaker David Rush returned to his roots by recapturing his first ever Guinness World Record title, longest duration juggling 3 objects blindfolded. Alright, so it looks like by serial record breaker, he just sets a record, and then when he gets bored, he sets the record again. And mind you, I don't know where this is. This looks like he's doing it in a school also. I could totally be wrong though. Anyway, Rush, who has since broken more than 250 Guinness World Records. I wonder if it's his own record, just upping it 250 times. Anyway, Rush, who has since broken more than 250 Guinness World Records, achieved his first title in 2015 when he donned a blindfold and juggled for 6 minutes and 34 seconds. So obviously you gotta up that, because what else is there to do in life? The record-breaking enthusiast has returned to the record on 3 occasions. This is the 3rd time he's broken it. To increase his time, most recently managing to juggle for 32 minutes and 7 seconds in 2021. Alright, I can get behind that. Cool. We're gonna cut that one off there because we got a couple more. Let's see what else we got. As the computer's freezing up. Oh, there we go. So what's another one here? Alright, next link right here. Hold on, let me get that one off the docket. So this one's some grandma drama. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Let me get a drink. Well, I'm waiting for this to load. Alright, so some Reddit grandma drama. Reddit drama about Disney trip by grandma and kids goes viral as she refuses to apologize to the family. Woman said, Woman said her daughter-in-law began crying when she learned her children went to a Disney park without her. How dare she? Alright, a grandmother who took her grandchildren to Walt Disney World for their first visit when she was unexpectedly forced to babysit the kids for multiple days did nothing wrong and was right not to apologize to her daughter-in-law, said social media users as well as a family therapist. They went to therapy because grandma took them to Disney World. Anyway, Reddit user simpleband89096, apparently her username, revealed the situation on the AITA Am I the A-hole subreddit in a post on Thursday, March 7th, asking AITA, so am I the a-hole, for taking my grandchildren. Okay, so this is a grandmother that made the account. Am I the a-hole for taking my grandchildren to Disney for their first time without their mother and refusing to apologize when confronted? Fox News Digital also interacted with the poster via Reddit's messaging feature to learn more about the story. The woman lives not far from Disney World. Woman on Reddit is where does this article keep going? Here we go. In the post, the woman said her son asked her to make a Reddit account and share the story because he claims my normal meter is skewed and the internet is going to tell me she's wrong, she wrote. She said, I recently babysat my grandchildren, 5 and 4, ages 5 and 4, for a period of 4 nights and 5 days so my son and his wife could attend a wedding in Mexico and spend a few days on vacation. Initially, the woman said she did not want to babysit her grandchildren for that long a time period on such short notice, and told her son and daughter-in-law that she was not comfortable doing so. It seemed like a long time to watch the kids, and she was point blank told me the woman's family is more important than the man's. So I was irritated. I was being asked to babysit the kids, yet the daughter-in-law's mother was not asked to. The woman wrote, but Simpleband, her username again, changed her mind and agreed to babysit the kids after her son became very emotional, she shared. Even so, she felt that they were being manipulative. It didn't even occur to me to run it by my son or daughter-in-law, as I had the kids for an extended period of time, and obviously they knew they would be going wherever I went, she said. Do I read that? My daughter-in-law was furious and burst into tears. She said I stole one of her kids' firsts and called me entitled. In the past, the woman's daughter-in-law said she planned on taking the kids on a multi-day trip to Walt Disney World, but never made me aware it was something super special to her, added the woman on Reddit. Also, it was Epcot. It's not like I took them to Magic Kingdom and they had some magical moment of seeing their favorite character. In a follow-up comment, she said she lives about 2 hours away from the park and they did not need to stay overnight in a hotel. When her son and daughter-in-law got back from their trip, they did not take news of the trip very well at all. I'm still going with this because this is kind of interesting to me that this woman is this pissed off. My daughter-in-law was furious and burst into tears, she said. She said I stole one of her kids first and called me entitled. She continued, to be honest, I didn't react well to being called entitled when she was the one who previously demanded babysitting while they go on a vacation. My son feels like Reddit is going to show me the error of my ways. She went on. My son asked me to apologize as she was distraught over missing their first Disney trip, but I declined and I asked them to leave. The son later asked again for an apology, but Simpleband again declined. I know she is a huge Disney person, but it was Epcot, not quintessential Disney, and I don't feel I should have had to miss out on a birthday party I wanted to attend, the woman wrote. I told my son I'm not apologizing for anything, and maybe they should think about how they made me feel when they didn't respect my initial no. How long does this keep going on? Jeez. Simple Ban added, my son feels like Reddit is going to show me the error of my ways. I feel like we've read that sentence 12 times. Speaking to Fox Digital, the grandmother said she felt good about the resulting responses to her post. I know my son read all the comments and is feeling pretty embarrassed right now. She said, it's essential to relinquish some control over how things are done, even if it doesn't meet your expectations, a family therapist told Fox News Digital. That while the daughter-in-law's emotions were understandable, she needed to adjust her views of the situation. It's understandable for the daughter-in-law to feel disappointed that she wasn't the one to introduce Disney to her kids. Rachel Goldberg, LMFT founder Rachel Goldberg Therapy in Los Angeles, told Fox News Digital via email. Taking care of two young children for an extended period of time can be challenging, and if you're entrusting grandma with the responsibility, it's essential to relinquish some control over how things are done, even if it doesn't meet your expectations, said Goldberg. All right, I think that's enough for reading that. This thing just keeps going on. But regardless, no, that's weird. That's weird to me. I'm not, like, if I want to experience something with someone, like, I just want to experience it with them. Like, I don't care if it's the first time or their 12th time. So maybe that's just weird to me because I'm not that kind of person. Like, if I had kids and my parents took them to, we can say Disneyland. I was going to say what's closer to me is Cedar Point. I would have been like, awesome. Now you know how cool roller coasters are, so when I take you, we don't have to go through that weird phase of, like, I'm scared to ride everything, where I have to convince you to ride it, hopefully. That's my point of view, so. That's weird, and I wouldn't, like, she had 5 days to fill with, like, these kids that she wasn't even prepared to babysit, and she's 2 hours from Disney. Well, it sounds like she was invited to by her friends to a birthday party, so she's like, all right, kids, gotta get in the car, I'm invited to this birthday party. I was planning on going already, and I wasn't planning on watching you. So on and so forth. So yeah, that's dumb. The mom's raging over this and canceling the relationship per se because she wanted to be the one that introduces Disney to her kids. I'm starting to, like, doze off. That was a lot of reading. It was super dumb and super boring. Well, it wasn't boring actually. I was getting into that. That was something interesting. It was super dumb though. Like, I'm gonna drop my kids off on you tomorrow for almost an entire week. Don't leave the house. Like, that's dumb. Anyway, that's enough news for today. Maybe we'll get back on that. Like I keep saying, in June here, coming up, another week or so, we will have Scott here, hopefully. He's our amusement park guy. Maybe we'll save that story, see what he thinks. Just, that's his cup of tea. Let's see what he's doing. Let's see what he thinks. Anyway, let's start getting to the back end of this to start wrapping up everything we're doing. So, we had a goal this year. It wasn't originally our goal, but as we kind of just walked into going into all these Guardians games and the way the league, Major League Baseball, is set up these days, it's kind of like this everyone plays everyone situation. If not every year, every other year. I don't know that the Guardians play the Rockies this year, but they did last year. They played the Brewers last year. Then this year they played, like, the Mets. Like, it's all everyone plays everyone. So we're like, with very little effort of going to other ballparks out of town, I think we can cover every MLB team this year in a video. So that is our goal this year. I don't think we're gonna do it. Not to be negative again. I think we got all but 5 teams. And we may be cutting that down to 4 teams because there are only 5 teams that don't come to Cleveland this year. And I might be able to cut it down to 4 because one of those teams does go to Pittsburgh. coming up in June, the first week of June, and that is not far away. You know how it is. Weekday game. Don't have work. Hour 45-minute drive. Not too bad. So the 5 teams that I don't think we're going to be able to get to. Do I have my list here? Let me see if I have. I think I have it up here. Is this the one with the circles? This isn't the one with the circles. Hold on. Here's the one. Here we go. The 5 teams I do not think we're going to be able to. Let's see if it's even 5. The Atlanta Braves, Miami Marlins, Philadelphia Phillies, Los Angeles Dodgers, Milwaukee Brewers, and New York Yankees. So actually, it's 6. We may be cutting down to 5. Those teams either A, do not come to Cleveland this year, or B, we just didn't go to the Yankee series. It was a bad weekend. They did come to Cleveland early in the season. We just didn't go to that series. We didn't go to one game in that series. The team we may be able to cut back, though, is the Los Angeles Dodgers because they are in Pittsburgh on a weekday that I don't currently have work. So that one we may be able to cut down, and maybe I think every team that I named except the Yankees does go to Pittsburgh, but I think that Dodgers series, like June 4th, 5th, and 6th, or whatever it is the only one that doesn't overlap a game. Or the Guardians that we already have tickets to, covering another team. But regardless, that's a goal we're going to try to do this year, and if not, early in the next year. And that's kind of a big thing, covering every single Major League Baseball team. Talk about like a dream of mine when I was young. We might be accomplishing it either this year or early in the next. And talking about plans, talking about road trips, our tour, etc., as you want to call it. We have, as I said, a bunch of Guardians games. Maybe going to Pittsburgh early in June to cross off the Dodgers there. Max, bro, what you doing? Enter the chat. Max, the cat. We have a second table set up over here for Scott's desk over here. Max just jumped up on it. You got something to say? Talk to the microphone. Did you hear that? Do it again. Max, do it again. Max, do it again. Say what you just said last time. No, he's not having it. Now he knows we're listening. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, our plans. All right, so maybe Pittsburgh in early June. I don't know. Not set in stone yet. Then also Toledo sometime. I was thinking June 1st because what's his name? Johnny. What's his? Hold on. I need to look up this guy's name. Joey Chestnut? Joey Chestnut is going to be in Toledo, Ohio at the Toledo Mud Hens game, June 1st. Then there's a whole mix up with that because I don't know if I'm going to do that. Or also June 1st, on the same day, Ohio State's having this thing in Cleveland that I was invited to, like video, so on and so forth. And as much as I'm not in with, Ohio State, that much, kind of a Michigan grad, etc. I'm still trying to cop a picture with Brutus because my whole thing is I have scrapbooks, social media full of pictures with all the different mascots I see, etc. And Brutus wasn't at the Ohio State baseball game. Kind of salty about that. Kind of makes me dislike Ohio State even more. No, I'm just messing around with all that, though. You know how I am. I'm very in the middle with all the sports teams. There's no one that I really hate. I just got to make jokes because of the whole Michigan thing. But so I don't know. Sometime this summer, though, we got to hit up Toledo. We will be in Pittsburgh. So we got a new name for a little thing we do when we can't be on the road very often. Don't want to be on the road very often, whatever it is that year, trying to save money, whatever it may be. We have the new Chewing on the Wire Electric Applesauce Fest. And what that is, we'll pick two cities. One of them is usually Cleveland, one of them is Cleveland this year. And we're going to have multiple days of live music, our live radio show, games, giveaways, guests, everything you can imagine. Usually at a baseball game, sometimes at a concert. Like I said, we're picking two cities. So for 2024 in Cleveland, the Electric Applesauce Fest will be June 20th through 23rd. We're going to the Cleveland Guardians game the 22nd, featuring, what's his rap, or I gotta look up his name now. Shaq Diesel. Featuring, so that Guardians game, June 22nd, post-game concert featuring Shaq Diesel, officially added to our Electric Applesauce weekend. Second stop for the Electric Applesauce Fest, kicking it off. We're all wrapping it up, not kicking off, wrapping it up in August/September, August 31st through September 2nd. We're going to have the Electric Applesauce Fest, same deal, live taping of the radio show, live music, giveaways, guests. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. Going to be in Pittsburgh August 31st through September 2nd. And I should also say Erie. We'll get more into that later. Early in the day, we're going to be at Waldemere Park, Erie, Pennsylvania. We're wrapping it up, doing our show out there at the, what is that place called? I'm not remembering the name of anything. The Hard Rock Cafe in Pittsburgh, doing a little bit there. Talking to some people maybe, going back to West Mifflin. We have another show going on there. I feel like there was something else I was going to finish this off with. My mind is completely wiped after that. Oh yeah, yes, it's the Saviors Tour for Green Day. That's why we decided to host our thing in Pittsburgh that weekend. It's a Saviors Tour for Green Day, so you can also catch us at PNC Park September 1st for the Saviors Tour. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Our two stops for our Electric Applesauce Fest 2024. That poster will be coming out soon. I think that's all we got for today. I think that was a hearty episode. Went well over the time we needed to. We read some. We got some news. Max got to talk for us. Max, got anything else to say before we go? Hey, Max. Nah, he's zoinked. Anyway, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. I feel like we got a lot done, hopefully. That was something entertaining. I feel better after raging about what I was annoyed at before we started the show. I feel better. Hopefully you do too. Thank you very much for tuning in. That's all for me. I was going to say signing off, then I felt weird about it, then it sounded even more weird because I said Mies. But anyway, that's all for me. Chewing on the Wire on COTW Radio. See you next time. Bye-bye.